Okay, gonna put this onto not Wi. There we go. Phone internet works so much better than Wi-Fi. Okay. Sorry, you can see my little machine here. So, I just finished doing some animal flow because that's my form of like self-care. There's like yoga, there's Pilates, there's all that stuff that I usually recommend, but animal flow works for me. Anyway, so we're going to talk about breathing. I'm going to put this as a save video as well, so then I can share it with you guys. But, so, if you have a balloon, if you don't have one, that's fine. But the balloon really works in a way that it cues you to not inhale when you're not supposed to. Because when we're living in a stressed out state, you'll find yourself like in this type of posture, in this position, because you're doing a lot of shallow breathing. Very rarely do we actually get deep breathing happening when we're in a stressed out state. So it's really important to tap into our like relaxed state, tap into. That's why I get a lot of my girls to do yoga, to do Pilates, to just pause and breathe. Because living in that stressed out state with all the shallow breathing, if you look at, so my ribs are there. If you are constantly living in the stressed out state, look where my ribs just went. They're constantly flared out. Now, what sits under the rib cage? The diaphragm. The diaphragm is here. So if you're constantly here, the diaphragm's not in an optimal position to then be able to protect your spine, to give you bracing. And if your diaphragm, if your rib angle, if all of this stuff is malfunctioning or maladapted to your stress patterns, think about it like, you see a lot of people squatting like this. Or they think that the best way to squat's like this, and then they do this. That is also reinforcing the same posture. So all of that is giving you like the open can type of effect. And if you think about the fact that you're not getting that bracing happening and breathing deeply, who gets a lot of back pain? People that are constantly stressed out, people that are sitting down all the time, people that just don't have a respect for the way that the body's supposed to function. So when we put ourselves into a calmer state, from here, you're getting your rib position into a more acute angle. Now that allows the diaphragm to sit how it's supposed to sit, so that you can actually not only brace your spine and get proper core action. Like you see a lot of people, they're unable to get like their midsections into a good tone. And by tone, I'm obviously referring to like the muscle tone, as in it's, I'm not talking about definition tone, I'm talking about tone as in firing patterns, because there's either too much tone or not enough tone happening. So yeah, back to what I was saying, you want to have a properly functioning tonality of the core. So that's where the breathing comes in. Now, there's different types of doing this. You can do this up against the wall. You can do this with the foam roller in between your knees. Or you can simply use a box. If I can get it around all of my barbells. Okay. So you want your knees at a 90-degree angle. So you can either do a wall or you can do this. But the cue that you want to think about is leg curling the wall or leg curling the chair. I don't know if you can see my hammies just about to pop now, but they're popped. My lower back is against the floor. If you have an issue putting your lower back against the floor, get like a ribbon or a resistance band or a booty band right under there and probably pull down your panty lines just so you can feel it and make sure that you're pressing against it. But I've practiced this for years and years, which is why my bracing has come so far now. So you want to make sure that your pelvis is tucked under you, so that your rib cage is able to get into a good position. And like I said, leg curl the wall, leg curl the chair. You can use a balloon if you want. I'm not, because then I can't talk. But I will show you an example of the balloon later. So what you want to do is lie down, relax, You can put your hands wherever you feel most relaxed. I usually feel most relaxed here, and then I can actually feel the function of my rib cage. So the first thing you want to do is take a big breath in. Make sure that your shoulders don't rise. You'll find a lot of you will go, and your shoulders will rise to your ears. So make sure they're pinned down. Take a big breath in. Watch what my hands do. See how my hands just lifted up? So take a big breath in. And I just want you to exhale all the air out. And I want you to physically try and push your rib cage together as you do that, if your hands are there. If not, I just want you to imagine it. Make sure you're still leg curling the chair, your pelvis is tucked under, and you're still breathing out. Do not let yourself breathe in. This is where, if you're using a balloon, it's really useful because the air will be coming out, filling up the balloon, and it's going to cue you not to breathe back in, because then you will choke on your own air from the balloon. Don't use your nose at all with this breathing. It's all through the mouth. And you're still breathing out, you're still breathing out. You'll feel like you need to choke and you need to take a gas spin, but you're not allowed to. As soon as you get all the air out, hold it for 3 seconds, and then you're going to let in just a little bit of air. And then you're going to repeat. So this whole time, you're doing a lot of deep breathing. Because when you're in that stress state, doing a lot of shallow breathing, you hardly ever tap into this system. You'll find that you'll gas out really easily when you start with doing this type of breathing. But as you practice it more and more over time, you're able to hold the full exhale for so much longer. Like before, I used to choke after like 2 seconds of trying to hold it. But now I can hold it pretty damn long because I've done it for so long. And this is an adaptation that can stay with you for ages, because you don't have to keep practicing it once you get it. I don't do this anymore because now when I'm actually doing it in my squats, in my deadlifts, even in my bench, I'm practicing it through my lifting. But if you're not used to actually cueing this action, you're going to have to do it a lot of times isolated to then be able to apply it to your lifting. So that's where the balloon comes in. And I can keep going and keep going. But when you do breathe in, obviously you're going to breathe in a little bit through your nose, and then you're going to keep exhaling through that balloon. So I could go on for ages now, and that's something that you can practice, and something that, like, until I started to nail this stuff, I was never able to actually get my core and my abs sitting as they do. And now I can pretty much, I'm pretty sure you would have seen me going through those like higher eating phases where I was eating quite a lot of carbs, a lot of food, and I still maintain quite a solid midsection. So obviously that's because I'm able to hold the tone there, I'm able to brace there, and I have the activity going there. But a lot of people aren't able to get that connection. Anyway, that is a little bit on that, and I hope that serves as kind of a lesson in your daily life as well, and why I reinforce posture being so important all the time. Because a lot of the time you are doing a lot of the time you're sitting down at a desk doing work, and you're sitting like this, and you're not paying attention to your posture. And then I know a few of you girls also take long commutes while you drive, and if I asked, what's your posture like while you're driving? Oh, I never really thought about it. But a lot of the time, you're not really breathing that well because you're probably stressing out about getting to work, stressing about what the day's about to bring at you and all this other stuff. Anyway, that's my little education series number 1. Breathing, stress, parasympathetic, sympathetic, and yeah. I will see you all next weekend.